Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Frightful things you see when you take your eyes off the goal. And you know, the thing that I'm talking about with this anchoring belief system and how we anchor things really does apply to this, because we do take our eyes off the goal and we do see the obstacles. But if we're anchored in the correct things, and if we feel secure in that, and we know that the boat's not just going to go flying off, you know, without a captain at the stern, you know, we can handle it, because that's how that whole thing works. Q&A is on Friday. Send your questions into support@savingdinner.com, and in that subject line, question for Leanne on Friday, I'll answer it right here. Nutrition, cooking, I do hair. I've done all kinds of stuff. You just won't, you'd kind of be surprised. I might show up, I don't know. Who knows how it's going to work, but it's a fun time. I love that. What else do we have? Oh, supplement of the week is new today. We threw down the apple cider vinegar, you guys. Thanks for buying all of that. We had to order some new organic apple cider vinegar because it was such a great deal. I always advise everyone, listen up. When I talk about the supplement of the week, listen up. If you hate paying retail, this is for you. This is how I do things. And that is, you buy in bulk and you pay less. And you also get extraordinary deals. Today we have Sleepy's. You know how I feel about Sleepy's. This is our proprietary formula that absolutely, this stuff is thebomb.com. I will say it's like herbal Ambien. It knocks me out. And I need that because I wake up 3 or 4 times a night otherwise. Not anymore. Not anymore. Still once a night to get up and go to the bathroom, but after 3 or 4 times, you know what I'm talking about. This is fabulous. It has all the things in it. You can find out more about it at savingdinner.com/show. That's where you find the supplement of the week. And if you order 3, we put the 4th one in your cart for you. And if you put ships free as you're checking out in the promo window, we will ship it to you free as well. That's crazy. That's a fantastic deal. And I want to make sure that you know about these. I want to make sure you take advantage of these because it's here today, gone tomorrow. You don't want to miss out. And Sleepy's, if you have any issues sleeping, you know that's one of my pillars for success in taking care of weight loss, getting off the carousel of crazy, and just feeling well and healthy. You got to have your sleep. And if you're not getting it, here you go. And let me just tell you, I know there's women on here who are using it. It just, it's all the things. It's got all the things in it, and it does all the things. I'm just really grateful for it. So wouldn't go to bed without it. That's mine. Buy 3, you'll get the 4th one free. I promise you. You will not regret it. You will love this stuff. It's amazing. Am I missing anything? I think that's it. Why don't we talk about how to anchor new beliefs? Because yesterday we talked about creating all those new beliefs. And we talked about how we did it. And we talked about how nature abhors a vacuum. And you can't get rid of one belief without putting something else in its place. This is just, that's how we work. We can't just walk around going, I have no beliefs. It's not true. We all do. But if we have beliefs that no longer serve us, we have to start looking at how do we flip that and how do we get out of that? How do we create something that instead is going to serve us? And this is exactly what this is about. And I want you to think about all the times where you've listened to a certain song or a song comes on the radio and it takes you back to that time and to that place. Oh, I remember when I first heard this song. For example, what is that song? I see a little silhouette of a man. What is that song? It's the Queen song. You know the one. Somebody tell me what the name of it is. I'm not going to sing the whole thing. God, I don't know why I can't remember it. But it's Rhapsody, something, Bohemian Rhapsody. That's what it is. So Bohemian Rhapsody, I have an absolute memory with that. When that came out, I think I was in high school, and it came out, and I was in a car with a bunch of teenagers, and we're doing the whole head banging thing. And you know, when I saw the movie with Mike Myers and, you know, Garth and whatever, and they were sitting there head banging, I always go back to that. I remember, yes, we were head banging in the car, listening to the song. The first time we heard it was just like blown away, and it was a fun memory. That is an anchor that I have to that song. I know you've heard it before. I know you've experienced that song before. It's, I know you've experienced other songs where you have felt the same, oh, I remember that. And it has a good meaning, it has a good connotation, or even a bad song where, oh, this is where my high school boyfriend broke up with me, whatever. We have these things that bring in the feeling and the memory and anchor them down in our very souls, I believe. So that song becomes then an anchor, but anchors, we have to look at what are anchors. Well, they are stimulus, you know, some kind of a stimulus, I don't know, out there. It can be some kind of a trigger that makes us think, aha, this is what I need to do. And it's to get us to a desired state or a desired desire, or to do something, or to flip the way we feel, or to become a little bit differently, or to create a new belief. This is, you know, this is all the things. This is one of the things I was talking about yesterday, I think, or the day before, where I said, you know, if you're having a problem with getting in all the hydration, start telling yourself, I'm thirsty. Every time your alarm goes off on your phone, if you're using your alarms, that's how I do it, start saying, oh yeah, good, I'm glad my alarm went off. I am thirsty. This is something that your brain listens. And what we're looking about here, this is a neuro-linguistics type of a thing where you are programming your brain and anchoring yourself in these thoughts, in these new beliefs, so that when something triggers it, you go back to that whole thing. So it's giving yourself a new loop is what it does. So you think about it this way. If you've ever heard a jingle, or a slogan, like if I say something to you, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, what's next? Somebody tell me that in there. You guys aren't making any comments today, which is, oh, there it is. Yep, there they are. There it is. Now I'm seeing all the comments. They were all going nowhere. But if you are saying, wow, I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Well, let's see if it moves. But here's the thing. Don't be surprised if the Q&A is just a lot of questions about the new house. Well, don't worry, I will answer them. Maybe I'll get some pictures and take you all through it. But so when we're talking about this, if I say plop, plop, fizz, fizz, you know, you who are in my age category are going to know exactly what that is. Who's got the answer for that? There it is, Kathy Wheeler, Yvonne, oh, what a relief it is. Exactly. Oh, what a relief it is. What is that? Well, you can say it's an earworm because we would say that, but it's also an anchor. It takes you to the place of saying, oh yeah, plop, plop, fizz. That's what I need for that kind of relief. I need to be thinking about Alka-Seltzer. It was one of their most successful campaigns because it stuck with people. When they'd go to the store to go buy something for an upset stomach, they'd be going, oh, what a relief it is. I want that. And it was their jingle that did that. You can think about the other things, you know, just you're in good hands with. Who did that one? Anybody? I know that there's going to be somebody throwing that one down. And guess what happened when they started using you're in good hands with? Allstate. When you're in good hands with Allstate, well, Elizabeth, you're too young probably. But if you're in good hands with Allstate, that's a insurance commercial. That's saying, oh, what's the connotation of that? No, it's Allstate. Yeah, you're in good hands with Allstate. When you're in good hands with Allstate, you think security, they've got your back, they've got all these things together, and it just circled, that's a circling of the wagons, and it gives you that security. That's an anchor. That's an anchor. And these are all the things that we can do, create our own jingles, mantras, people will call them, whatever, affirmations. And we're going to go through how you create all of this stuff before, when we talk about our alignment assignment. But the whole point of anchors are, these are the pillars, these are the things that we throw down to hold down the new belief. You know, we need to do that, because otherwise our beliefs, this new belief, we go, oh yeah, but I'm thinking about this instead, right? And then guess what happens? All of a sudden something will happen that's happened a million times, and we go right back into that old place, that old thinking, that all that stuff of our old beliefs. And we can't do old beliefs if we're trying to flip our belief system. So we have to figure out, how do we hold those new beliefs down? How do we keep them in their place? They need anchors. So there are 3 things that you need to do in order to make sure that your anchors work. And the first thing, it's intensity. You know, when you got all the emotion and the feels behind it, you know how that feels. You put all the emotion behind it. That's your focus. That's what you're going to do. And that's where you're going to stay. Instead of beating yourself up, you recalibrating. Anybody ever hear that when you're GPS? Recalibrating. And instead of going this way, you decide you're going to go this way. So you recalibrate. And instead of getting all wrapped up in the crap that didn't work out and it didn't work and blah, 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 recalibrate, refocus, and that's where the emotion goes. That's where all the feels go. Not feeling bad, not beating yourself up. Because think about it, when you're feeling bad, beating yourself up, what are you doing? You're emoting over the bad stuff, and you're reinforcing all of that stuff. Flippity-doo-dah, going over this way, throwing down an anchor to hold that down, and having the emotion behind it is going to start creating a new neural pathway. That's what we do. We're rewiring our brain so that it will support the things that we really want to do. Can't do it any other way. So if we allow it to create the intensity, we allow our emotions to create the intensity. You know, our emotions can, you know, oftentimes when we're talking about like take the emotion out, unplug from it, blah, 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 blah. That's just so that we can have an analytical moment, right? Our emotions aren't bad things. They just need to be refocused into going into the right direction. If they're refocused and going into the right direction, then it's like taking this new belief and just plowing it through. You know, you've seen snow plows on the road, all this snow everywhere, and they just like push that stuff up. Well, if they pushed it into your driveway, you're not going to go anywhere. And that's essentially what happens when we're not handling our emotions correctly. We're pushing it into the wrong direction. We want to push it away from the driveway so that we can get out and drive the car. We can't do that for ourselves. We can't. Not at all. But we can when we make a decision for ourselves to go into this path of taking those emotions and helping them to push our new belief. That's what they do. And then, of course, there's the repetition of the whole thing. And, you know, Oregon trails, you know, why did they get all those ruts? Because of the repetition of those wagon wheels going through. And we've got them in our heads. So if we are cautious and if we are aware of all of this, we can create, through the power of repetition, a new Oregon Trail. It's a brand new one. It's the one that we want to be on. It's not the same old thing that has caused us so much grief and heartache in the past. It's the new thing. It's the new pathway. And that's what repetition does when we're using these anchors. It associates and lands what it is that we want. It lands it because every single day, oh, there it is again. There it's popping up again. There it is again. Daily. It's a constant reminder. It's not just done and forgotten about and thrown into a journal and never talk about it again. No, it's on a 3x5 card. It's in your bathroom mirror. It's in your wallet. It's in your car when it greets you. It keeps reminding you. Exactly. It is. Fly Lady routines are all based, building new habits. It's all based on repetition because repetition is what creates that pathway. And it's like that for everything. You can see this toolkit, if you will, of creating new patterns. This is how you do it. But in order to get out of your own way, you have to create things that are going to trigger you into it. So let's use Fly Lady as a fabulous example. She's got 2 triggers. She's got 2 anchoring habits. Can you guess what they are? That help you with all of these other things, because they all come following down. It's building new neural pathways. It's making new patterns happen. It's creating new routines. The first one is get dressed to lace up shoes. Why? Because your shoes tell your head it's time to go to work. How brilliant is that? And if she's telling you on the repeat that all the time, and she does, then you believe that. And it's, it's not like you're just drinking the Kool-Aid or anything, but you are believing that. And when you get those shoes on, you're getting ready to go. The other anchoring habit that she has is having a shiny sink, because the shiny sink sends out to the kitchen. The kitchen is the heart of the home. I mean, I know her system backwards and forwards, believe me. It worked for me. I've told thousands of people about it. It works. But I'm taking this whole idea and showing you just how doing all of that, and I don't even know that, Marla went in and said, well, I'm going to set down anchors and do all this. She just did it. And what she did is she put it together, and it just worked so beautifully for her. And then the few people that were on her little chat page that, suddenly a movement was born. But it makes sense, because if you don't deal with the mindset, you're not going to get the habits. You're not. And if you don't hold those habits down with an anchor, you're not going to have anything. There's not going to be a new mindset. There's just going to be a moment here and a moment there. This is how we do it. This is the creation of it. And it's really important. So repetition's important. And also meaningfulness is important. Think about, back to the Fly Lady example, think about that. Why is it important? Because you don't want your house to look like a bomb went off. It's important because you want a beautiful home. It's important because the heart is where the home, your heart is in your home. You can't have that without taking care of that. And likewise with us, when we're trying to create new beliefs to support the healthy lifestyles that we want to lead, we've got to throw down the anchors. Smokers do it all the time too. And it's a pain thing. They've got rubber bands around they're trying to quit smoking, and it just, every time they want a cigarette, bam, off goes that rubber band. And it's a trigger. It's an anchor, temporary. It's an anchor that says, no, I'm associating smoking with pain. Because what are you working on? The mind. Until we have our mindset straight, until we have our mindset in stone, so to speak, held down and secure, it's just going to be another flash in the pan. That's the carousel of crazy. Because, you can't just go park a boat and not put down an anchor and just say to the boat, hey, stay right there. But when I left it, it was parked right at the dock, and there it is, halfway out to sea. Well, what happened? There was no anchor to hold it there. We need anchors to hold our stuff. We need anchors to hold our thoughts, our new ideas, our new belief system. Our mindset requires anchors. And you know what it also does? Anchors are a quick path to getting there. We don't have to sit there and unwind all the negativity and the negative treadmill, the treadmill of negativity that we do. We don't have to unwind all of that and figure out why and how and this, that, and the other. We just say, that goes to the side. I'm throwing down an anchor. And then boom, we go right off into that place. That's the other thing that's really cute, really cool, because it gets you to direct action. So the other thing is that anchoring swaps out the negative for the positive, and it does it quickly. It reminds you of these different things. It's your stimulus, and that stimulus becomes, you respond to that. So it gets you, do you see that? Do this, get that. Do this and get that. So, the rubber band, think of Pavlov's dog. I mean, we all saw, Psychology 101. We all took that freshman year in college, right? And what is that? You learn about Pavlov's dog. It's just a matter of repetition. It's a matter of the same behavior. It's a matter of using your senses. So they didn't use the senses for the dog. They used a sound. For us, what's more important than a sound? It's the emotion. It's how we feel about something. It's how we wrap the presence, of everything that we have is all wrapped up in emotion. And emotion's a fabulous thing if it's directed properly. If it goes off running amok on its own, then we got to pull it out and get it there. So let's remember something that this is a reference point. It's a stabilizer. And what do anchors do? But they hold great big ships. They hold big ideas. They hold them down. They make it so they don't go anywhere. And it stops us from going out to sea and gives us a place to figure things out safely in port. That's major. So as we understand all this about, how these anchors work, we have to remember that your brain needs to get on your train. You have a place that you're going. You're wanting to, use the levers. You want to be the conductor of your own train, use the levers to get your train to where you want to go. Well, you got to remember that. Your brain needs to come with you because your brain ultimately is the conductor. Yes, you can pull the switches. Yes, you can do all the things, but you have to create your anchor beliefs. So how do we do that? Here's your alignment assignment. There's 5 things. Number 1, affirmations. Your I am affirmations are quantum leaps to getting you to the next thing that you need to get to. I am is declarative. I am puts the universe on alert. I am makes a statement of who you are right now, here, today, in the present, even if you're not there. Even if you're not all the way there. And it's not like lying to yourself. It's creating a new paradigm for who you are. I am healthy. I am wise. I am making good decisions. I am healthy. I am fit. All the things that you want can be in these I am statements. You can do 30 of them or you can do 2. But what I have done is I have used I am statements for my advantage for different things that I'm working on. So last week when we were doing the hot melt sprint and I was like, I did it just as exactly as written with you. And I was like, I want to get the last of this COVID comfortable weight off. What do I need to do here? And I kept saying, I am losing double the weight in half the time. Because usually, if I want to lose some weight, it's like 2 pounds a week or whatever. Guess what happened at the end of 7 days? I lost 4.5 pounds, more than double the weight in half the time. See? And I didn't do anything different. Nothing was different. But I'm telling you, when you are I-aming and you have a little statement and you are saying it on the regular, your mind is listening. And your body's like saying, okay, so let's cooperate with that. Because you're giving it a directive. You're conducting and you are telling and you're instructing. You do this, you do that, you do this. How fun. Don't you like being in charge? I'm sorry, but I'm the firstborn and I'm naturally bossy. Yeah, I like being in charge. And if I can tell my body to do something and it listens, hey, I'm there. So I did that. And I wrote it in my journal every day too, by the way. I said it to myself. I wrote it in my journal every day. And when I went down into the kitchen, I was thinking, oh, I'm a little hungry. And then I would say to myself out loud, I am losing double the weight in half the time. And it took away that desire. I also had a little L-glutamine, not gonna lie. Keep my L-glutamine here on the desk. Keeps me out of trouble. But that's the thing. Those are the mindset shifts that we need to do. Those are the mindset shifts that make all the difference. Present tense, I am statement, and making it as repetitive as possible. It rewires those neurotransmitters in your brain, period. Number 2, visualization. Visualizing something, seeing something makes a strong and powerful statement to your brain. It says, look at for that. Look at this. Look at that. Vision boards. Every single day, I looked at my vision board. Every single day on the top left quadrant of my vision board was a picture of a view from a dock or from the grass, from a house on a lake, because that was part of my whole thing. And here we are, right? Here we are. 3 years later, but so what? Here we are. I looked at it every single day. And, we have to look at that the desire is the fire. When you want something, that's going to push that emotion over there. It's going to push the emotion to anchor down that belief that you have. And that desire is just, it's everything. And if you could put a little fire behind it, then you're really pushing it out to sea there. You're getting a little momentum going. That's number one on that whole thing. And number two is the belief is the relief. When we believe in something, that relieves us of having to figure out our new beliefs every time. Or how we're going to do this or whatever. It takes the how out of the equation. The belief is enough. The belief is enough, and that should be a relief to you, because you know what? Your how will always show up if you believe strong enough and if you're putting the emotion behind it. That's it. And also, your immersion in this whole thing creates the conversion from going from the place of just an idea to actually doing and having. So if you want to be fit, for example, you're not going to get fit in 2 minutes. You're not going to get fit just like our fit challenge, be strong, stay strong. It's not going to be it. It's not. It's going to be the starting place. It's the starting block. You're running a race. You can't just do, oh, look, presto, changeo. However, if you are immersed in it, you're going to converse in it and you're going to convert. The immersion creates the conversion. Because this is the thing. This is how I do. This is who I am. Think about it. Fitness, for example. I am fit. Your desire is the fire. That's going to get you up and off the chair and onto the bike or onto the rebounder doing something. It's going to get you out with a guide. It's going to have you pushing some weights. It's going to have you doing things. It creates action. And the belief is the relief, because that belief now relieves you of having to make up all these steps as you go, because no, that's just what you believe. This is who you are. And then the third thing is that you convert. You convert this thing as you immerse yourself in this belief. What happens when you marinate a steak? That marinade goes into the steak. You knew I was going to throw in a cookie analogy, didn't you? But that's the truth. This is how we do. Why do we take vitamin D? Vitamin D converts into the body and helps to build the immune system. Also helps to remodel your bones, makes you strong. Why do we do it? We take it because we believe in the conversion of what it's going to do into our bodies. There's something there. There's something going on in there. It's not just random pills. It's something, it's doing something. Same idea. The third thing is you have to reframe it and you have to rename it. Ever been there? Oh my gosh, can I tell you just how many times? It's all based on the meaning you give it. Have you ever seen this? You say, oh, that just never works out I can never do that. We had somebody, it was Gwen. Gwen said, oh, I can't do push-ups. And I was like, do them on the wall. We can do something. We can change these things up. When we say we can't do something, what does that say? That our bodies everything goes, put on the brakes. We don't have to put on the brakes. What we need to do is say, okay, that's not going to work, but I can do this. If my wrists hurt, I can go get wrist supports. If it doesn't work out, I can find something like, I can go to YouTube and say how to do push-ups without being on the floor, without screwing up your wrists or whatever. There's a way if you are convinced you can find it, and you are convinced you can find it if you decide to rename it and reframe it. What can I do? There's always a way out. Because when you are creating this, when you are renaming something, you're creating a new identity. I had a girlfriend in, I don't remember where, high school, who didn't like her name. She didn't like her name, and it was Janet. She changed it to Jenny. She didn't like her name. And I thought that was really weird. So why'd she want to do it? She wanted to create a new identity. She didn't want to be identified by something that maybe made her cringe. I think Janet's a fine name. It wasn't for her. For whatever reason, she didn't want to be named that anymore. She legally changed her name. It happens. And we can legally, and as much as we want to, change all of it when we need to. It's that simple. So the last thing that I want to say to you is that you add a phrase and say it out loud. I just shared what I did with you last week. I'm losing double the weight in half the time. But you can also, I shared with you another thing. I'm thirsty. If your thirst mechanism isn't working, let's get it working again. I am thirsty. This is what we do. We do that, we're going to get back a thirst mechanism that's going to start to work. I did this myself. It works. The other thing that I've shared with you a couple of weeks ago is for those of you who have problems with like wanting to go rattle around in the cupboards or make popcorn after dinner or do something to completely blow things out of the water and ruin everything, kitchen's closed when you're done with dinner. It goes right into your head. Plus you've got a sound that you're listening to. You've made a pronouncement about what you want. You've made a pronouncement about what's going on, and it changes your mind. It changes everything. And I promise you all these things work. And you know what? Number 5 is then you practice this stuff. Practice it and practice it and practice it. The more you practice it, the more it becomes yours. And the more those anchors go down and you're not going anywhere. You've got this thing. Your beliefs have flipped. You know, just like the conductor switching the track, it goes boom. It switches over into the same place. Elizabeth, we're going to do a vision board workshop. It's coming up. If you attend our workshop on the planner, then you'll get the invitation to the workshop. It's going to be a paid event. We're going to be doing it the end of the year in December. Just stay tuned. It's coming. Joe Dispenza, you've heard me say I love Joe Dispenza. If you haven't read any of his books, they're heady, they're great, and they're just like mind-blowing. I suggest if you do any of that, you read the book and you listen to it. It's just incredible. And one of the things, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, which sounds like an awful book, but it's really good because he's talking about this old garbage and moving into the new stuff and moving into the new way of thinking. And one of the things that he said is anchors work by installing new pathways in your brain, and your future self is dependent on it. Because what is your future self dependent on, right? What is it dependent on? Your future self is dependent on your new belief system. We've already proven out that your old belief system doesn't work. We've already proven out that it keeps you in that negative loop and you're going nowhere fast. So here is the time. Sarah, I'm trying to close this out. I yell shark every time I'm tempted by food. That's fantastic. You know, you can do whatever you want to do, but you know, I had a woman one time she was like, she actually had, she said there was like almond roca in her, they had it out in her, wherever it was that she was working. And I said, you know, a long time ago, I used to say that when we were cleaning the cat box and I pulled out the cat poop and it had all the little cat stuff on it, I said, it looks just like almond roca. And I said, that's what you should think about with almond roca from now on. You know, oh, that's really just cat litter, poopy stuff. Blah. We can reassociate, reframe, rename anything we want to. Anytime we start to go into the place of back into the old beliefs, which, believe me, it's like a sock. It wants to take you back there. You, at any time, you can flip that and say, absolutely not, I'm not going there. Yell shark, you know, for example. You know, it's Shark Week all the time at my house, in the kitchen after 5 o'clock, right? After dinner. So let's just start with all of these things. Let's line these things up. Let's throw down our own anchors and let's create for ourselves the exact path that we need in order to get to the place that we want. Our dreams are not off limit. They're not just dreams. They're goals. They're visions. They are a path to getting to the place you want to go. And it all begins with making a decision to flip your beliefs, throw down some anchors, and then get to work. I'm telling you, roll up your sleeves, sister, because there is work to be done here. But it's going to be the best work you've ever done in your life. It's going to change everything. I swear to you, pinkies up. I've done it myself. I've seen it myself. I just shared with you the latest example with a big time goal that I've had that is now coming true. I can't wait to take you on the whole journey of what this is going to be about. I'm going to be blogging the heck out of this. I'm going to show you before and after pictures. I'm going to take you there. It's going to be really great. You're going to see most of it in December when we close on the house. But, you know, God is good all the time. And, you know, he cares about our things. He cares about what it is that we want. He's there every step of the way. And we just have to remember that all things come from his big, gracious, open hand. He is the holder of all the things, and he loves us that much. Finding our purpose helps a lot. And just remember that as you're finding your purpose, it's all about how you serve others. Because when you serve others and you understand that your purpose on earth here is to help someone else, then you're going to see the value in why you're here. And that makes all the difference in the world. Never think less of yourself. Think more of yourself, because God put you here on purpose at this time for a reason. I promise. I promise. Thanks for joining me today. Wise women hang out, right? Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.